The emergency alert chirped through Ryan's neural implant. Just as he was finishing his maintenance rounds on Luna K's life support systems, he swiped the holographic notification into view, squinting at the unusual error code from the alien artifact sector. With a sigh, he muttered, "Another malfunctioning relic." These calls had become a regular part of his shifts lately. The station was old, and so were its systems, and the extraterrestrial relics they'd been collecting over the years required extra care. He tightened his toolkit strap and headed towards section AA7. The eerie quiet of the station's corridors was broken only by the echo of his boots on the metallic floor. As he neared the artifact preservation chamber, the door slid open with a soft hiss, revealing rows of stasis fields glowing in blue, carefully cataloged objects bathed in a calming light. A strange humming sound caught his attention, coming from the far end of the room. Ryan approached it cautiously, realizing the sound was emanating from what looked like an alien washing machine. Sleek and pearlescent, the device's surface rippled with soft, flowing patterns that shifted in the dim light, mesmerizing him. Suddenly, a melodious voice called out, "Hello, is someone there? I need assistance." Startled, he rushed forward, his heart picking up speed. "Hold on, I'm here to help. Are you hurt?" "Not exactly hurt, just stuck." The voice sounded tense but calm. Ryan peered through the transparent panel and froze. Inside was the most striking woman he had ever seen. Her skin shimmered in a soft, otherworldly blue, and her luminescent hair framed a face of ethereal beauty. Her eyes glowed like galaxies, mesmerizing him. "I'm Ryan, the station's technical specialist," he said, trying to keep his tone steady. "How did you end up in there?" She shifted slightly, her form casting soft glimmers of light against the device. "I'm Lanai," she replied. "I was attempting to use this emotional purification device, but something went wrong." She pressed her hand against the transparent panel, leaving trails of shimmering light behind. Ryan frowned, moving closer to the control interface. "Let me take a look," he offered. But as he reached out, his hand accidentally brushed against hers through a small opening in the panel. A sudden jolt of electricity shot through him, a sensation that felt like drinking liquid starlight. He pulled his hand back, startled. "Oh, that was unexpected," Lanai said, her luminescent hair brightening as her cheeks flushed a deeper blue. "Sorry, I didn't mean to." "It's fine," Ryan replied, his heart racing. He glanced back at her and noticed her expression soften. "Are you all right?" Lanai nodded, her voice gentler now. "My species isn't supposed to, well, touch others, especially men. Physical contact is considered forbidden." He raised an eyebrow, studying the ancient symbols on the control panel. "Really? That's unusual. Part of your culture?" She watched his movements intently. "Yes, it's to maintain emotional equilibrium. We use these chambers to safely release feelings we've accumulated." Ryan scratched his head, contemplating her words as he fiddled with another combination of symbols on the panel. "And how's that working out for you?" She chuckled softly, shifting inside the chamber. "Not particularly well, seeing as I'm trapped." Ryan couldn't help but notice how her form-fitting attire accentuated her curves. He felt a blush creep over him and quickly refocused on the control panel. "Maybe if I just..." He reached for another control. Their hands brushed again, and this time, the surge of energy was even stronger. They both gasped, eyes meeting. "Our emotional energy, it's resonating through the chamber," she murmured, her gaze locked on his. Ryan struggled to concentrate as waves of warmth coursed through him. "Is this dangerous? Should I stop?" "No," Lanai said quickly, her voice softening. "It's not dangerous, just overwhelming. On my world, we spend our lives containing these emotions. But now..." Her words trailed off, her skin pulsing softly with waves of blue light. He took a breath, attempting to steady himself. "Right, let's get you out of there." He tried to keep his tone professional, though his heart was racing. Not exactly something covered in the standard maintenance manual, but... Lanai's laughter echoed softly in the chamber, a sound that made him smile despite himself. He noticed how her breathing seemed to quicken each time they accidentally touched. The machine's soft humming seemed to synchronize with their heartbeats, creating an unexpected sense of intimacy in the room. "You know," she said, her voice a soft whisper, "getting stuck in here might not have been entirely unfortunate. His toolkit clattered to the floor as their eyes met, and for a moment felt suspended. Ryan took a breath, feeling drawn to her in a way he couldn't explain. "Lanai," he began, but she placed her fingers to her lips, smiling softly. "I don't know how things work in your world, Ryan," she said, her gaze intense, "but for me, this is more than a rescue." She lifted her hand to the glass, and he matched her gesture, his hand resting against hers, separated only by the faintest layer of material. He could feel the pulse of energy between them, the hum of the machine growing louder as their emotions seemed to feed into it. He closed his eyes, letting himself be enveloped in the sensations. Warmth, wonder, connection, all so foreign, yet exhilarating. Slowly he activated the final release sequence. The chamber's door slid open, and Lanai stepped out, her radiant form shimmering under the chamber lights. She looked at him with a mixture of relief and something else. Gratitude, perhaps. "Thank you, Ryan," she whispered, stepping closer, her fingers trailing along his arm. The air between them felt charged, alive. "You're welcome," he replied, his voice barely a whisper. They stood there, their breath mingling in the still air of the preservation chamber. Without thinking, he leaned forward, his lips a breath away from hers. Lanai's eyes softened, her hand finding his. And for the briefest moment, on a station orbiting a distant moon, their worlds collided in a kiss that carried the promise of all the things left unspoken, of all the feelings they could no longer contain.